Islam, peace to all my LBs and days. I just want to do this video to talk about this situation with Malcolm X, Nation Islam, and everything like that. So I saw on Queen's Flip they was talking about, had some people on there debate about it, and if you're familiar with I think his name is Real Islam or something like that, X or whatever, it just seems to me that they have a few things missing in the conversation, that I haven't seen or whatever. And so that's why, I decided to make a video. The topic has been, pretty much like people been beating a dead horse for years about this, you know what I mean? But what I've noticed, like I said, there's been certain things they left out, First of all, I don't believe that like these young people like Real Islam and Queens Flip and people like that they know a lot of history and exactly how NOI got started, and Nation Islam, how it got started and everything like that. So we can start from the beginning. It can be debated, but now that there's the internet, there's a lot of ways to do research and everything like that. Pictures are up, everything like that. You can find plenty of information. Elijah Muhammad, most honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was part of More Science Temple of America. So Wharfing Muhammad, it's not Wharfing, but W.D. Farad, or Mass Farad Muhammad, whatever you want to call it. And unless you have been part of the MSTA and the NOI, which I have, you would know that it's very similar and the information is the same. However, MSTA has been around longer. The More Science Temple of America, Noble Drew Ali, established way before Nation Islam. That's one point. You start from the beginning right there. It's like an offshoot, like so many others. So many, like the 5% is the leader that he was part of the Nation of Islam. The Hebrew Israelites, the leader that was part of the Nation of Islam. Same type of situation, So that's how that started. In the 1930s or whatever, So, which gets back to how old Elijah Muhammad was when these situations happened with the young girls and stuff like that. I think he was in his 60s or 70s, So Malcolm X, he was pretty much a pimp or whatever when he converted to Islam, Nation Islam, and everything like that, So you get this guy who pretty much, he didn't have knowledge of self or anything like that, His basis of pretty much standing on greatness was from the Nation of Islam, not necessarily Islam itself. That can be debated as well. But, when he was in Nation of Islam, that would be the first time he heard that the black man is the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Nobody else was talking like that. Especially during those days, you get lynched for saying stuff like that, The Earth is 6 sectillion tons unified by 21 ciphers. The sun is 2.2 octillion tons. The moon is 4 sectillion tons. The sun is 93 million miles from the Earth. He learned all these different type of things, and which made him very attractive to many people. He was pretty much nothing without Nation Islam. That's that. You know what I mean? People can say what they want, but that's what it was. When you go into, if you do Sunni or Shiite, you're basically taking on the Arab tradition of Islam. Islam is older than Arabs, obviously, right? However you want to, look at it. But that's basically where that come from. So, all right, he joins the Nation of Islam. He becomes somebody, right? Now, people say that it wasn't for him, Nation of Islam wasn't that big or whatever. That's debatable. I wasn't there. I'm part of this. I was part of, like, we call it the second resurrection or whatever. It was pretty big at that time already. You figure Elijah Muhammad, he had a third grade education with a speech impediment. He was able to accumulate so many members all over the country before Malcolm X, But yeah, we could debate about that as well. So here's the thing. So Malcolm X came on the scene doing well. He already knew about the young girls. We can talk about that for a second. The secretaries, right? All right, so you can look at it at a couple of ways. In Islam, if you know anything about the history of Prophet Muhammad, his youngest daughter, his youngest wife was it Aisha or Hanan or one of those. She was 13. You know what I mean? That was his youngest wife, That could have been an excuse or whatever, He could have married them. However, he did not. The problem came in is that why is it when they got pregnant, they got expelled or whatever, That is the issue, And I don't know if we can look at it back in the day if it was different or not, as far as men dating young girls. But Ishmael Muhammad, right? Look at Ishmael Muhammad, how old he is, right? And how old his mom was when she had him. And how old was Elijah Muhammad? Elijah Muhammad was, like, I think 70 or something like that. You get what I'm saying? Why was it that until Elijah Muhammad passed away, she came forward as one of his whatever or this or that, Someone can get on and hey, we could debate about that as well, But if you want to talk about R. Kelly or, Hugh Hefner or people being, whatever, that's what it is, That is something that I think a lot of young members of the NOI don't get or understand. You know what I'm saying? Ishmael Muhammad is the living proof that he was doing something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not 70. I don't know if when I'm 70 years old, I want a 19-year-old girl. That's another thing. So I think she was 19 when she had him, right? How long were they having sex before he got pregnant? Was it the first time? I don't know. Was she 17, when he started? But she was a young secretary. You get what I'm saying? And there was quite a few of them. All of them been lying, right? So Malcolm X, he knew about that. He pretty much wanted to leave when he got expelled for speaking about John F. Kennedy. He didn't want to be silenced. I feel like, maybe he loved the camera too much or this and that. You get what I'm saying? One of those type of things, Really have to look at that, It was the Nation of Islam. Pretty much Elijah Muhammad could have done what he wanted. Who's to tell him that he could not, His excuse was that's what W.D. Farad, Farrakhan Muhammad said for him to, I guess, be fruitful, multiply, something like that. And he said to Farrakhan Muhammad that, what would the people think about me? And Farrakhan Muhammad said, who are you afraid of, them or me? So there's that, But then it's still, why were so many of these young girls expelled? That is the only issue that that makes you wonder, well, what else is going on? I mean, what's going on? You know, why did that happen? You know, so that's when Malcolm X really starts speaking out, when he, you know, when he's expelled and this and that, they start doing certain things, you know. So then he start talking about that, you know, but he knew about that before, you know. And to someone I mean, I might tag him, whatever, but the Nation of Islam to this day is pretty much, I would say, clandestine. Elijah Muhammad said when he passed away to follow Warfdeen Muhammad. That was his oldest son. His oldest son was Sunni. You know, he studied the Quran. I think he went to Mecca and studied or something like that. So he was a Sunni. So that's where you get the, what do you call it, Bilalism or whatever you want to call it. They had their own thing, you know. Farrakhan, I think in the 80s or whatever, it was around the time I came in, I was very young. He started talking about he had a dream that he saw Elijah Muhammad on the mothership or something like that. And he told him to restart the Nation of Islam. That's all we got. However, you talk to anyone from the first resurrection, he didn't say follow Farrakhan. Didn't say that, you know. Now, I mean, as far as there's no more powerful organization to this day than Nation of Islam. You know, as far as black people, I mean, Farrakhan is unapologetically black. You know. Speaks about black issues with no filter. You know what I mean? I used to say all the time, if you want to find a sellout, all you got to do is turn on the TV. First black person you see is probably going to be a sellout. You know what I mean? Don't really necessarily have that with Farrakhan, you know. There has been rumors about him with the Scientology or something like that. You know, anybody want to talk about that or whatever? He was trying to, I remember one time someone was saying he was trying to get the second resurrection of people to follow Scientology or whatever. That, I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. I mean, yeah, that's what I've heard from other people, you know. But I get tired of these people on here that, you know, they talk as if only thing they know is what they've been taught in the temple. You get what I'm saying? You know, it sometimes is a little necessary to, you know, read what's out there, and whatever people say, research it yourself. If you can come back and say, oh, that's not true. Okay. Based on what knowledge, what facts, you know. But the facts is that this modern day NOI is pretty much clandestine. I mean, that's, you know, that's not what Elijah Muhammad wanted. You get what I'm saying? You know? You know, I don't know what else to say. I mean, you know, I think it's great. It's great for many people, you know. The MSTA, like I said, has been around longer than NOI, but who really knows about Noble Drew Ali? They're really the founder of all this stuff. Nobody really knows about him, you know. But even before that, Prince Hall, you know. You'll never find him in any history books or anything like that. No Noble Drew Ali. But yeah. And so it's always a lot of emotion comes around when we talk about Malcolm X. I mean, the fact of the matter is, in that culture of Islam, whatever, if you're a hypocrite, the penalty of a hypocrite is death. So that's how they looked at it, you know. And there is what they call Project Dirty Tricks or whatever, where, I mean, plenty of people have read about it, and many people came to the conclusion that definitely people in the FBI or the CIA had something to do with Malcolm X. I mean, come on, think about it. There were so many black leaders assassinated. Why not him too? You know what I'm saying? Like, Even if so, a black person pulled the trigger, they were somebody else behind it. You know what I mean? Like, which is the worst thing ever. You know, like why would another black person do that? But yeah, that's pretty much what happened with that. You know, but I always circle back to, well, how did all this stuff start? You know, I almost think about, is a person ungrateful, you know, or they think they're better than they become. I mean, it is possible to become exalted more than a teacher, is it? You know, he became somebody who didn't want to take a seat until his time. If he would have stayed, he would have been the leader, not Farrakhan. Everybody know that. You know what I mean? Everybody know that. Everybody know that Malcolm X. Oh my God, Malcolm X stayed in the Nation of Islam, where would we be today? We would probably have our own nation. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. It's another thing that these people that's part of the Nation of Islam, they get on all these platforms talking all this stuff, whatever. We have nothing compared to when Elijah Muhammad was the leader. We had our own airplanes, our own farm, all this type of stuff. Only thing we got now is a newspaper and I think in a restaurant in Chicago. Where's all the money going? You know what I'm saying? You know, I see on Zillow all the time, a plot of land, an acre of land don't cost that much. Why we don't have any of that? We had our own supermarkets, so many things. There was a time we was about to have our own hospital. You get what I'm saying? And it's been almost 30 years since Farrakhan has been running Nation of Islam. We don't have any of that, you know? But yeah, you know, we can talk about it. You know, we can get on Instagram and whatever. I debate with people this all day, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know, this is for Real Islam and Queens Flip and all those people, you know, who talk about this stuff, and then it's just some pieces missing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted. That's basically what I wanted to get at. You know, Malcolm X would have still been alive to this day if he would have, I guess, kept his mouth shut or whatever. You know. But a righteous person do that, you know. He did see some things or whatever, right? But that wasn't the reason why he left. It was the fact that he was being Muslim. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but that's all I wanted to talk about. Anybody got any comments or questions or whatever, I can get back on here and we go add some more, whatever. Anyway, peace.